you aren't unreasonable for holding your standards when they're tested, even if other people don't believe those standards to be justified. Um, and you shouldn't be made to feel bad about it either. But you can't really control how others react in situations that flare up their emotions, and you shouldn't have to match their emotional instability in order to keep that relationship going, maybe. It's so strange. There's so many rules that might be set by other people as general rule of thumbs, general red flags, and your experiences throughout life don't always align with those base standards that you should hold for yourself. Of course, we often don't follow these base standards, these red flags that we should be watching out for. We disguise them as just quirks or part of who that person is, when in reality, those are just unhealed parts of other people that your standards threaten. I was recently seeing a girl who had this past thing with a guy, and that thing with that guy ended very ambiguously. It was like, hey, let's take a pause for now, and we'll fix our own shit. And yeah, and to me, that's like, well, if I start dating you, is this going to lead to is this going to lead to this person eventually reaching out, as they've done multiple times, um, unprompted, where now I'm taking all the trust, and you get to reap the benefits of both that old relationship and the new, while my heart can be potentially put in a situation of compromise. I was upfront with this person and said, this makes me feel uncomfortable, and there's a reason I haven't made any moves towards you is because of this. And the response was, it's unfortunate you see it that way. You can trust me. Uh, I don't want to go back to this person. And this is driving a wedge between the potential connection me and you could be building. And I thought to myself, that's true. I definitely have to hold some accountability there for that standard I've set in place because of my own past experiences. But like, fuck that. If you know you're never going back to this person, ending the ambiguity and saying, sorry, I'm not pausing this anymore, I'm fully moving on. You've played too many games, and this is time for me to move on, right? Like, you've kind of screwed up your shot. That's taking accountability, not leaving any loose ends, any threads attached to people who you used to really care about. That seems like the mature and smart decision to take, in my opinion. Now, I think most people don't have the willpower in order to face that level of uncomfortability, especially if that person really meant a lot to them. I can understand why you might not want to make such a clean cut, because I think it's steeped and you actually want to go back to that person eventually if you had the opportunity to. I've definitely been there. I posted a video yesterday about how I still love this girl, and I haven't spoken to her in 3 to 4 months. And the universe has such a strange way of being so cruel yet justified, I guess. Um, and this all plays into the idea of holding those standards. I place on some co-ed sports teams, not only because I love sports, but also because I want to make new friends. I want to potentially meet a girl there, lines well with my values. I was reached out to at 1 a.m. last night. For context, at 7 a.m. Sunday morning. I was reached out to at 1 a.m. last night by the girl I haven't spoken to in 3 to 4 months. Someone who brought me into a tornado of emotions, ups and downs, and I think this is more where the building of myself is tested. Can it withstand like an earthquake? I was reached out to at 1 a.m. last night, but the topic was if they could join my team, because I sent out a group chat message, just, who wants to join a team for next season, yada yada. It's so strange to me that I got that yesterday after posting that video. Because what the fuck? Like, it's like I spoke out into the universe, like, I almost want to be tested. I don't want this person to be like, I put it as like a final boss of my standards and boundaries that I've built and built upon over the last 3 to 4 months. I guess only time will tell. I want to tell myself I have the confidence to sustain this steadfast view on the direction I want my life to go, and in order to do that, I need to it's so strange to say, I almost need to hold these walls and have very strict guards on duty to choose who to allow through the gates, at least for relationships. For friends, I don't really have too many walls, just yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Hold to what life has taught you to believe. And those lessons. We all hold these different types of lessons. Mine, I was too open in the past, too trusting. I got burned because of it. Others are too walled off. They don't let any vulnerability and emotionality into their life, and that leads to a much more aloneness, which is a good topic for another video. And I use aloneness specifically because that doesn't necessarily mean they're lonely, but that also doesn't mean they're happy alone in solitude. I selfishly hope that I can sustain this for myself. And if this is an area you've struggled with too, I really hope you can hold to it as well. And don't let people tell you you're delusional or unreasonable for holding these ideas, when life has taught you that they are important. It's interesting the walls we build as children, to cope with our living situation with our parents, for example. All the attachment styles and stuff. I think there's a lot of validity to that research. Secure, anxious, avoidant, fearful, avoidant. Definitely not foreshadowing anyone here. But those walls should evolve as you grow, when new evidence is shown. And I didn't have these walls growing up in the same way that I have these walls now. And sometimes we tear down those walls for reasons and then build them back up. the flip side of the same coin is don't be so rigid in your walls from rules you made 10 to 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that are now costing you potential friendships and relationships that could lead to so much more happiness. It's the uncomfortability of building the new walls and the uncomfortability of destroying the old ones. And it's within that uncomfortability, I think, where we find ourselves and where we want to move towards, always through the uncomfortability. Such a cliche, but yeah, the harder thing is always, not always, but most of the time, the right thing to do. So I hope I can stick to that mindset, and I hope for whoever's watching, it offers that level of clarity as well. Yeah, I think that's it.